But if you really need melee for a different fight later on, you're going to want to have that gear for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Blackwater Behemoth in particular, though, drops a very nice DPS trinket and a pretty good healing one as well. So that might also be a key point that they have to look for. And I love the positioning. They're staying on the ground floor.
There it is.
Just as I need it.
Just like you wanted. That is perfect right there. But at the end of the day, for Blizzard, they wanted people swimming around, but obviously it's not the best tactic to do, unfortunately.
We'll have to see to what extent they're going to be doing on that one, as Guffykin's getting a little bit too close to everybody else and proccing his cauterized very early on there. Pretty scary, and you are seeing that knockback everyone's swimming up against and dealing with. But a lot of times, they're able to continue casting. The range is going to be able to continue pumping DPS. And the Rogues, they're doing great this
Yeah, they are. There you go. In the top 3, 2 Rogues. That is pretty damn good. And that boss is going down very, very fast.
That's right. And, of course, it's going to be a time duration for when the boss transitions. It's not based off health percentage by any means. So they have a lot of time to be able to start going into hopefully that last phase. They'll have the boss incredibly low. I mean, we saw around 10% was where they got their wipe in. Yep. So as much damage as they can really churn out here is going to be critical.
Yep, let's just hope they've been brushing up on their Finding Nemo to get past those jellyfish.
I don't think you want to bounce on these ones.
Yeah, you're just going to keep swimming.
Just to keep swimming, going through it as they are getting the boss down to about 65%. We've got a little bit longer before the transition happens. Should be just shortly after this thing. We got another 10 to 12 seconds before the transition starts, which should line up right as that bioluminescence buff is wearing off of the players, because they do have to kill those pufferfish, granting them a 30-40 second duration on bioluminescence, allowing them to be healed. Otherwise, you can only heal the tanks from the tank debuff that they have. And now we're going to go for a nice little swim in between any of the jellyfish here. If they touch any of the jellies, they will get instantly killed. And if they go across this area with the bioluminescence buff, one of the lurkers from below will snap up and eat them.
It's actually pretty scary. When you get the when you go over there, you just and you're glowing green. You think, oh no, this is it. They're coming.
And if the Hulk.
Yeah, there it is.
And once they cross over, they do have the cavitation cast going off from the boss. So they have a lot of time to be able to sit tight, interrupt it here. So they're all getting their buff right now, and then they're going to be interrupting cavitation at that last possible second, maximizing the DPS uptime. You're seeing they're all stacked really tight together right now, but that's why they have the Warlock gateways down. They put them up in such a way so that they're going to be able to reach that top part of the triangle. But we basically have 3 points of a triangle for the different areas on the ground. So if they're swimming between any of those breaches, they will not be able, or they will be susceptible to being eaten from that gaze
you do not want to go over there when you've got that bioluminescence.
Yep, so very scary right now for Guffykins. He's needing to get back onto that island. He's getting really close. There we go.
Ooh.
You were seeing his own personal timer just wearing down a little bit there, but that's the main thing you got to watch out for.
Yeah, this is looking like a good pull so far, though. No deaths so far, so pretty good. What are we looking at, 40%?
Something around those lines. And look at how they're actually delaying the kill for the pufferfish. They waited about 5-10 seconds after their first bioluminescence buff wore off. That way they're going to extend it just a little bit longer, be able to get everybody topped off. And this is a great play because you want to make sure that all the dot damage, all the damage onto the group has ended before you end up swimming across. Because I think earlier on, they still had some dot damage and they just weren't able to heal anybody in the process.
Yeah.
And that's just the scary moment because you're not able to really do anything about it. You can put up some little small shields, something like that.
You just watch them die.
And then you just watch them tick down and die. Exactly.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good at all. But yeah, again, we're now edging into that nearly 25%. This is looking like a very, very good pull at this point.
Yeah, and getting it as low as possible for that final phase, because it's very likely you are going to start losing some people here as that buff has just worn off for BDG. It's off now. You're still getting pulsing damage. You really just want to have that transition as rapidly as possible, because here's where you're going to start losing a couple people.
Yeah.
Watching this here, a little bit of dot damage coming out on a couple of the players right now.
That was very
Seeing
close.
if they're just about to tick down. Oh, no! So many of them going down here. I think we have 4, 5, 6 deaths going into it, and that's the problem. If you're not getting that bioluminescence buff long enough, the dot ticking damage will just bring them down.
It's all about timing on this fight, and I mean, how many are up now? Could they bring this down?
It's like 8 or 9. I don't think that... Do they have a tank? These are not my raid frames, let me tell you. My raid frame's immaculate.
Yeah. Not vanilla raid frames then, just a complete mess.
They got the buff.
Yeah.
Boss is interrupted.
They're still going for it.
Getting in position here. They got 20% to be able to burn. They do have tanks up and ready to go.
There's a few more people up now.
They have burned all of their battle reses. They did get that slick grip on their druid, who they did end up battle resing, but their druid does not have the bioluminescence buff. You're seeing him just to the right of Comfykins in his, what was it, druid, Zandalari, and it's not Ankoan. What do they call the birds?
They are...
They're birds.
Arakoa.
Oh, Arakoa. See, I wanted to say Ankoan.
Close enough.
The Arakoa bird. Thank you.
Yeah.
Somebody
you've
here
got a dance now as well.
That's right. Oh, they do have a dance. You're
Yeah,
right
they
about
added
that.
the last patch. Yeah.
Yep, that's what we really need. They're getting that last pufferfish down. It looks like they're sitting pretty on this one. 5% left.
Really
they
good.
just need to make sure that they burn this pufferfish down because the bioluminescence buff has faded from the group. They need to be able to get into it really quick. I like what we're seeing here. Comfykins waiting to be able to get his buff. And honestly, he might just say he's committing to the boss because if he was going to be jumping into it, it's just more damage pulsing on the raid. He is proccing his cauterized once again here, but he does not care. Burning the boss down.
There it is.
EDG getting world first.
World first, Blackwater Behemoth and Limit are just heading over to that boss now. So.